President Bola Tinubu has, in a renewed move to consolidate his government in the last week, announced a barrage of appointees to head various departments and agencies of the federal government after sacking previous occupants appointed by the previous Muhammadu Buhari administration. The appointments focused on the heads of the information and orientation agencies to CEOs of public development banks, Customs Auditor General and public health institutions like the NPHCDA and Nigerian Health Insurance, National Health Insurance Authority. But there have been appointment flip-flops too from President Tinubu that have made critics to wonder if the announcement of public appointees are given a deeper thought before being made public. One of such is the appointment and withdrawal of the young and 24-year-old Imam Kashim Imam as the chairman of the Board of Directors of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA. The 24-year-old first-class graduate of mechanical engineering from the University of Sussex only completed his National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, in August 2022. His father, Kashim Ibrahim Imam, is a close associate of President Bola Tinubu. Now, the appointment generated a huge controversy, with many saying he lacked the requisite experience for the job and that the appointment was nothing but the height of political cronyism under the Tinubu-led federal government. Following the public uproar that greeted the appointment, the president has now reversed his action. Recall that the president made a similar change of mind with the appointment of ministerial nominee from Kano State, Mariam Shetty, just moments to her screening at the National Assembly, where the nominee was already at the floor of the Senate. Even the president's appointment of Ola Olukoyede as the new chairman of EFCC has been widely criticized by many, arguing that he's not qualified for the position, with some CSOs holding protests and a lawyer heading to court to challenge the appointment. President Bola Tinubu is also being criticized by many Nigerians for concentrating major appointments in the southwest of the country, specifically with his appointees emanating from his native Yoruba tribe, raising questions on the issues of federal character and nepotism like it happened under the immediate past administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Critics claim that Tinubu's appointments system is in crisis and that he is not fully in charge. Well, joining us now is the renowned professor of new public management at the Nasarawa State University's Department of Public Administration, Professor Charles Nwekeakwu. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Welcome, viewers.
Yes. And with us is a public policy expert, petroleum engineer and lecturer with the Base University in Abuja, Dr. Rufai Alkali. Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome to the program.
Abubakar Alkali.
Yeah, Abubakar Alkali.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. All right, so let's talk, let's start with you, Prof. Having seen all that we've seen, you are an expert, I mean, in management issues. Yes. The highest level of management in Nigeria and elsewhere begins from the presidency. What do you think of the president's administrative style in trying to build this management team so far?
Thank you so much. I had expected that in view of the dynamic nature of the society, where you now have a major paradigm shift, for example, in governance, emphasis is no longer being made on the traditional system of administration, because traditional system of administration is characterized by excessive delay, unnecessary protocol, over-process, overdue process, delay, lack of creativity, and so forth. We had expected that the coming in of Tinubu's administration will embrace new public management. New public management actually emphasizes a paradigm shift, where you now, instead of emphasizing on this issue of due process and this thing, you concentrate on getting results. Instead of bogus cabinet, you think of lean cabinet. Instead of concentrating much on government, you think government doing less. So these are the cardinal principles of new public management. And you look for creativity, you look for this thing. For example, look at when Tinubu was sworn in, the first policy statement he made was removal of oil subsidy. without, new public management would have said no. First, commission a small study. Let a team look into the issue of oil subsidy and give you everything and advise you on what to do. That could be done within 2 weeks. He didn't do it. And you remember that the regime of Buhari actually programmed subsidy to last end of June. He truncated it by 1 month, removed it without any, that is the necessary preparation for that. And you can see how we have somersaulted. Look at the value of Naira today. Almost over 1,150 Naira because of this somersault. And then you see the bogus cabinet. How many ministers now? The Constitution says 1 minister per state. That should have been 36. It should have
plus
FCT.
Yes,
at least.
Yeah, at least actually, but that doesn't stop him from
no, because of the nature of our economy. Our economy is in comatose. So, Mr. President shouldn't have embarked on bogus cabinet, but he has done that. You see, is it the loan? Look at the justification for the new
management style, isn't it? Because management style cannot be restricted.
The creativity is not there. Creativity is like most of the decisions are based on the spur of the moment, without much thinking, only to come back and realize the mistakes.
No. All right, so we'll bring you in. I mean, the president has his own management style that he's embarking on, but we've also seen flip-flops here and there. What do you make of President Tinubu's recent appointments? I mean, just in the last week, we saw several of those appointments coming in, and some people have said it looks like an appointment bazaar.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Editor, again. I think more than anything, the president is trying to consolidate his hold, you know, on power. And also, I think it is like a response to some of the criticisms, you know, some of the complaints regarding the initial set of appointment. If you remember, at the beginning of the administration, there was a kind of, you know, first set of appointments, of major appointments, and that was widely criticized. Okay, so the government, the president actually is more or less trying to do a balancing act. He released another set of appointments. Initially, one did not set it's been shortchanged. You know, there was another set which tried to balance the equation. Then again, there was another set, you know, and that. But I think what is important is, you know, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. I think all the discussions, all the hula baloo should, at the end of the day, come round to what the Constitution says. And what the Constitution says in Section 14, subsection 3, is that appointments into government offices should, you know, reflect federal character and yes, also promote national unity. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, I cannot remember any government that has been in existence in Nigeria which has made appointments without criticism. That is a fact. Okay, but also you have to also look at the it from the angle that you know, there was also this biasness sometimes, you know, on the part of the leaders. Okay, so I think to some extent, you know, you could say that you know, the president has tried as much as possible, you know, to reflect that federal character, but then also it is such that, as I said, whatever you do, there will always be some kind of criticisms. Either you are criticized for, you know, giving more attention to your region, more slots to your region, or giving more juicy appointments to your region. Because in Nigeria we have juicy appointments in court. Yes, here and there. Unfortunately, because the whole thing is more about personal interest than actually the national interest. So you will now be accused of giving more juicy appointments. But at the end of the day, I think what we should be concerned about is the capacity of these appointees to deliver. Okay, you also have to look at the human factor, because you see your human instincts actually drive your managerial public engagements. Okay, your management of public resources and authority at your disposal. Okay, so you actually find out that you seem to be more at home, okay, with people that you know before, okay, that you are familiar with.
You are running a federal government, and if you're running a federal government, the appointments have to be widespread. It can't be only for your region or only your friends and all of that, and that's the criticism that President Tinubu is facing. Prof, let me take you back to the issues of management style. He is the chief executive, and he knows what he wants. Could it also be that it's people that can deliver that he's able to find, and those people, one way or the other, happen to be either from his own part of the country or more of friends and associates, or children of the elites who helped to support him, or that of party supporters who went to the streets to campaign for him, or it could also be a section of the country that voted more for him than others. What do you make of this mix?
Summer, when people talk of capacity, I laugh. I don't know what they mean by capacity. You remember before the general election, the general what people come here to say, they tell you that in the Southeast, that there were no people with capacity to do this. And I challenge them. If you are talking of capacity, how do you measure capacity? Are you saying that during your secondary school, you beat these people? In the university, you beat them? You are the people who beat you in everything. Go to GCE. These are international, that is standard you can measure. Capacity. I don't know what they understand by capacity. You go to look at the appointments that are being done. It is also not right. It is not right to say that every administration is being accused. No. Obasanjo is from Southwest. He tried to balance, giving every section a sense of belonging, including those that didn't vote for him. Okay? Now, this time around, look at the appointments that are being done. How many are from the Southeast? Are you telling me that there are no people with the capacity in the Southeast? Is that what any person wants me to believe? 5 ministers from Southeast. Others had minimum of 8. This is 1. And now, look at major establishments. Look at CBN. Look at Federal Revenue and everything. You don't have capacity. At the CBN, somebody from Southeast has PhD in economics, more qualified than any other person there, but he was sidetracked. I can keep on mentioning. So let us not talk of capacity. So the capacity you are talking of, we can see it now. What is the exchange rate of Naira today? How much do you buy a liter of petroleum? What is inflation rate?
But sometimes, isn't it his entitlement?
No.
His own administrative style.
Yes,
I mean, because it's an executive power that's given to him.
You can see political somersault here and there, because I don't even see the capacity in the appointment, because the people are not performing. There are people who are there to do the thing. They are being sidetracked, maybe because of where they come from. So we cannot continue to hide in the issue of capacity.
So what do you say of the young boy, for example, who was made the former chairman, but whose nomination had to be withdrawn?
Well, it's part of the, you see, this is the era of paradigm shift. Before you appoint somebody, you're supposed to have assessed the person, secretaries and other things. But this one, you appoint in the morning, in the evening, you counsel. That doesn't show consistency. That doesn't show analytical skill. Appointment is not a thing you just wake up and make. Before you appoint somebody, you consider a number of things. Yes, he said the issue of federal character, Section 14, subsection 3, is very important. Are we adhering to that? No. Are you telling me that you don't have competent people in Southeast in all these things? Who is talking of that? You are talking of competence. Go and check JAMB. Where do you get best students? Go and check GCE. Go and check other things. When it comes to appointment, people will tell you capacity. We are tired of capacity. Let this government sit up. And you are talking of capacity. You are talking of a region that was able to withstand 30 months war without there was land blockade, air blockade, sea blockade. But people of the Biafra Southeast.
Yeah, but the president has also appointed lots of people in this government that we have seen. In this last one that we've seen, including even the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. We've seen other ones that have come out. The president trying to see how he can manage disappointments.
He hasn't really been fair to the people of Southeast.
Well,
and when people come to tell
because he has administrative powers to be able to do that.
Yes, it's a prerogative. But we are asking him to be fair.
Okay.
To every section of the country.
Southeast
every section of the country, not just
Southeast. Let me come to you. There's what's called distributive justice when you have to do with appointments generally. What do you make of President Bola Tinubu's sense of distributive justice when it comes to, giving different parts of the country appointments into the federal government?
Yeah, well, as I said, the crux of the matter is the provision of the Constitution. And yes, I think to a large extent, there have been some distributive justice, but there actually is a lot of room for improvement. And I think, to be honest, it's important that when we are looking at these things, we look at them from the national perspective, from the national perspective, than from a regional perspective. Okay, if I'm to sit down here and defend my region and Prof is sitting there to defend his region, we'll not come to a meeting point. We won't. But if I'm here to defend the national interest and Prof is sitting there to defend the national interest, I think we'll have a common front. And that said, I think we have to, try as much as possible to say, okay, look, here and there are mistakes. Here and there are problems. There are challenges. But let's still move on as a nation. Let's still move on as a people, because you see, going back or even at present, looking at how my region was shortchanged and how my region, is not being adequately, or how my house or how my family or how my town, sticking to my own, comfort zone, I think will not have the problem. Now that said,
yes, the one he talked about, there is a National Health Insurance Authority. Actually, I was talking about where I'm trying to get that name now, where we've just been told that the Director General of the National Health Insurance Authority is Dr. Kelechi Ohiri. So you could see that when the president made appointments in the health sector, the Executive Secretary of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, went to the Southwest, Dr. Muyi Aino. But in balancing it with the National Health Insurance Authority, former NHIS, he actually picked someone from the Southeast to sort of create some geopolitical balance.
To be honest with you, if I'm to sit here and start, defending how my own region, the North, was shortchanged, I don't think we'll live here today, to be honest. So I don't want.
And some people also tell you that in the previous government did not enjoy lots of advantages.
So you see, that was why I was saying it was all about a balancing act. You see, you cannot satisfy everybody all at the same time. You see, that is why when you have an appointment from I think the government has learned that lesson now. When you have an appointment from this region, then the next one you have an appointment from another region. Okay, so, and also, to be honest, I think there is the issue of merit, no matter how we look at it. Talking about capacity does not really mean that we are saying a particular region or a particular section is not capable. No. You see, what actually we're actually trying to promote is the fact that, okay, we all should be interested in, how that person performs, rather than which region he or she comes from. I think that is the major point, because you never know, maybe the person you are trying to actually promote from your own house may end up.
Yeah, and that's why I actually brought you here as a professor of new public management. Yes. Talk to us about the issues of performance.
When you are talking of,
because that's what he's talking about, result-oriented people.
Yes, I've already
if
said
all
so.
The result-oriented people happen to come from your own area,
doesn't
it meet your expectations
in
your area of practice?
Are we getting that results? Tell me the area we are getting the results. Which area is Nigeria getting it right?
Well, the cabinet is still new.
Wait. Since May, what was the exchange rate of Naira before May 29? What is the exchange rate now? What was the inflationary trend rate before May 29? And what is it now? What was the pump price of fuel before 29th May and now? Because you are saying that you are getting excellent result. I don't see the excellent result because of capacity team.
Well, the president is still building his team. If he's still building, that means he's still appointed.
It my colleague talk of national interest.
Yes.
National interest. I don't know how people define national interest, but I think national interest, it has to be the interest that is subjective and the interest that to some extent is embracing, that serves majority. But where you keep on making major appointments from one section, yes, we know that Buhari administration did it. We expected that this administration should correct it. It didn't go well with Nigeria. And you see where the country is. He continued it and see where the country is going. As a matter of fact, merit is not being considered.
You think so? Because the president said
because we
are based on merit.
Wait,
so, I mean, it's a different ballgame when you say, do they have the qualifications or not?
See, in my place, a blind man was told that there are 3 lumps of meat in his soup. He said, well, I don't see. When one lump enters my mouth, I know one has entered. So, merit, it has to be done with the results. Where are the results?
And does merit apply to only when the appointments or appointees actually come from your own part of the country?
No,
that's also.
We are not talking essentially Southeast. There are many areas that have been shortchanged, and you keep on concentrating the appointment from one section. In the first place, remember that the resources are mobilized from all parts of the country. So, and if that is the case, in the appointment, you also try to reflect that federal character as provided in section 14, subsection 3. It is not being done. 2, you find that if you are talking of new public management, if you are talking of new public management, government should govern less, allow private initiatives to come in, let citizens be treated as customers, let creativity be the principle that governs what you do.
And I have to bring you in.
You don't go and borrow loan for consumption.
Yeah, right now, must be results to drive it very quickly.
The Minister of Finance just explained $1.5 billion loan is said to cover the lapses in the budget. No specific area. $1.5 billion. No specific area.
So let me come to you, Dr. Alkali. Let's talk about very quickly as we try to round off the issues of competence and then, of course, the administrative style of the president as we try to round off. And then, of course, the need for political balancing too.
Yes, I really go with the idea that we should have a lean and effective government. And I think that word in the relevant section of the Constitution, which gave the president the powers to appoint ministers from the states, the phrase "at least" should be removed. I think we should have 1 minister per state. If you ask me, yes, 1 minister per state.
That's just it.
Yes.
So no addition.
I think so. This will solve this problem. And then also to put square pegs in square holes, we should have a situation where the president will say, from this state, I want a professional or a technocrat, on aviation, for example. Somebody from, you see, this will actually, avoid this problem of appointing someone to a particular sector that he has no knowledge about. And it will also, avoid this, of a pampered issue of godfatherism and man knows man, and nobody, someone knows nobody, so he doesn't get anything. Yes, so I think we should have a situation where in some critical areas, the president will say, look, from this state, you the governor or the leader, I want someone with this level of experience.
Okay, and there are some areas that you don't have them. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time.
Then you do the balancing.
Okay.
Actually, you
because there are some areas of merit where you may not get somebody who's qualified.
That is why you have 3 names. There are so many positions for politicians, actually. So many. The government is very big. All
right. We must thank you, Dr. Abubakar Alkali, for helping us to understand these issues. And of course, Prof, just in 30 seconds, what do we do to move Nigeria forward from this perspective?
Well, the government should be lean, use committee system, drop a number of these old systems, embrace new public management, adopt alternative service delivery, so that you now be in touch. Look, we have new globalization. This is a new globalization. It's a new public management. Adopt these principles. Let there be creativity. Let there be, government should concentrate less and allow experts to come in.
All right. Well, the experts don't go to canvass for votes. They're always in their houses, and many of them don't vote on election day. We must thank you, Professor Charles Nwekeakwu, who is the Professor of New Public Management at the Nasarawa State University. We must thank you so much for helping us to understand the system of public administration by President Bola Tinubu. And of course, Dr. Abubakar Alkali has been here with us. We must thank you too. He's a professor with Base University here in Abuja. Sorry, a doctor with the Base University here in Abuja.